Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mayor Angel.
Here.
Commissioner Crawford.
Here.
Commissioner Householder.
Here.
Commissioner Jennings.
Here.
Commissioner Shirley.
Here. Stand if you can. Join us for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First item on the agenda is the Citizens Forum. If there's anyone here from the public that wants to speak about anything not on today's agenda, come on up to the podium, give us your name and address.
My name is Elwin Thrush, 412 West Elm. I had an ordeal happen today. I was on Ash between College and the tracks, and on the north side there was a car across the street, or across the sidewalk, sorry. And I took and went out on the street. There was a sheriff vehicle coming, and I went like this here, motioning to the sidewalk to the vehicle, and there was a city police car right behind him, and I done the same thing, and the city police car stopped on the wrong side of the road, up right at the corner of College and Ash. And I thought he was going to come back and do something, you know, about the car being on the sidewalk. Well, in between times, the female came out and moved her car. But why didn't the police officer stop sooner and actually say something to her about blocking the sidewalk?
Mr. Thrush, the police officers have discretion on what they ticket, what they cite, what they don't, who they talk to, who they stop, who they don't. If you have a complaint about a specific officer, I guess I'd encourage you to contact the
Well,
chief
I don't
and
know
make a
which
complaint.
officer it was. Then I seen on Elm Street, right by the police station, a female on a electric wheelchair scooter on the right side of the road, going right down the road with 4 cars behind her. 4 police officers were out on the sidewalk. Not one said a word to her. Now, why is it always me?
I don't know what to tell you, Mr. Thrush. I appreciate you coming here and give us your comments. Did you have anything else to say today?
That's about it for now. I had a little CD clip I could have showed you on the officer's deal, but I explained that to you.
Thank you for your comments.
And, you know, it just don't make sense. Here other people can do what I can't do all of a sudden.
Go ahead,
I
Mr.
don't think
Gage.
that's happening. And what I'm saying is that you have police officers throughout the community. You have multiple types of crimes and volumes of crime, and minor crimes, minor things, citation type issues throughout the entire community. And as you mentioned, Mayor, the police officers apply judgment in those cases. I'm not sure Mr. Thrush has been cited. Have you been cited?
No, not yet.
So in that
But
case, the other person could ask, well, how come Mr. Thrush hasn't been cited yet? So I think what you're seeing is the police are applying discretion, because it probably doesn't make sense for them to cite everyone in every situation of those minor situations, unless they find in that situation that it's really having an impact in which there is no solution at that time, and they have the time to address that, versus maybe going to another call, which they may be headed to, that may be of a more serious nature.
Right.
Then how are these people going to get educated on not blocking the sidewalk if a police officer don't stop and tell them that it's against the law?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't probably think about that at the time, whether they realize they're not supposed to block it. But quite honestly, there are situations that occur in which it helps remind them to say, okay, I know I'm not supposed to block this now. And so quite honestly, if you're coming down the road and they recognize it impacted your ability to cross, that's going to register in their mind, and I would typically not expect the same person to do that again. So a lot of times experience will help them to realize that.
All right.
Thank you. Is anyone else here for Citizens Forum? Move on to awards and proclamations.
Item 4.1, the month of April 2012 as Fair Housing Month in the City of Salina. Lan Guston, OCCK board member, will read the proclamation.
Mr. Guston, come on up.
Whereas April 11th, 2012 marks the 44th anniversary of the passage of the Federal Fair Housing Law Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 as amended, which integrates a national policy of fair housing without regard to race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, and disability, and encourages fair housing opportunities for all persons. And whereas the state of Kansas and the city of Salina has recognized the enforcement of the law and voluntary complex which the law by housing providers and the housing industry assures housing seekers that they will not encounter illegal, discriminatory barriers to that attainment of the housing of their choice within their financial means, and as whereas people must not be denied housing because of the race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status. The City of Salina and the Salina Human Relations Commission and Department are committed to highlight the Fair Housing Law, Title VIII of Civil Rights Act of 1968 by continuing to address discrimination in our community, to support programs that will educate the public about the right to equal housing opportunities, and to plan partnership efforts with other organizations to help ensure all residents of their right to fair housing. Whereas in order to heighten public awareness, the City of Salina wishes to focus public attention on April as Fair Housing Month. Therefore, I, Samantha Engel, Mayor of the City of Salina, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2012 as the Fair Housing Month in the City of Salina, and I do hereby urge all residents to take due note of the observance by continuing our efforts to eliminate housing discrimination in our community.
Any activities planned for the month?
Yes, there will be landlords fair housing training on April 28th at 8 a.m. in the Bicentennial Center. And the Human Relations Department will be doing various trainings for tenants, landlords with apartment complexes during the month of April.
Okay, thank you. I have a signed proclamation for you, Mr. We don't have any public hearings and items scheduled for a certain time, so we're on to the consent agenda.
Item 6.1, approve the minutes of April 2nd, 2012. Item 6.2, resolution number 126894, authorizing a renewal of a certified local government agreement with the State Historical Preservation Officer, allowing the Salina Heritage Commission to assume responsibility for performing National State Register project review under the State Historic Preservation Act. Item 6.3, award of contract for the 2012 Asphalt Mill and Inlay Part 2, project number 122903 to APAC, Kansas in the amount of $160,905.83. Item 6.4, approve supplemental agreement number 3 with Wilson and Company for the East Magnolia Improvements, project number 102808 in the amount of $11,913. Item 6.5, resolution number 126895, authorizing the city manager to instruct binding of coverage for excess workers' compensation insurance with Midwest Employers Casualty Company. Item 6.6, resolution number 126896, adopting a process for development and approval of arts projects outside the City of Salina Capital Improvement Program.
Does any commissioner want to remove any of these items from the consent agenda? Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded that the commission approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. No development business today, so we're on to administration.
Item 8.1, approval of an investment grade audit contract with Johnson Controls for the downtown lighting improvement project.
Mr. Frazier.
Mayor and Commissioners, on July 16, 2007, the City of Salina entered into an agreement with BWR, which is currently Lochner, to develop a lighting recommendation report for downtown Salina. The study looked at lighting levels downtown and then considered options to repair and replace the 346 decorative lanterns which were installed in 1987, about 25 years ago. Depending on the options and the cost range from about $1.5 to $2 million. At the September 19, 2009 City Commission study session, options were presented, but no action was taken due to a lack of funding. In 2009 and 2010, city staff contacted our congressional delegation for funding assistance, but were unsuccessful. In the early part of 2011, the city was approached by Johnson Controls, who believed that they could broker a partnership between the City of Salina, Johnson Controls, Phillips Lighting to lower the project cost to replace the downtown lanterns and upgrade the city parking lot lights. Their proposal is to gain discounts from Phillips Lighting, utilize Johnson Controls and Key Lighting staff expertise, and finance the balance of the cost. The payback will come from lower utility expenses over 23 years. It's actually just a little bit more than that. We figured about 23.4 years. The utility savings would come from the LED lights that provide improved illumination with less energy usage, plus the elimination of some of the existing downtown light fixtures to include a number of the lanterns, mid-block fixtures, and reducing the intersection lights from 4 to 2, rather than being on every corner, just 2 of the corners. The initial project scope developed by Johnson Controls and to be confirmed through the investment grade audit, which is the IGA that we refer to, would include the replacement of the downtown lanterns, fixtures, poles, internal wiring of the equipment within the boundaries of the designated downtown area as defined in the attachment B1 core study area that was in your packets. The number of lanterns would be reduced and still maintain or exceed the current levels per the 2008 BWR lighting report. Parking lot lighting would also be upgraded with LED lights. At the October 17, 2011 City Commission meeting, Johnson Controls presented a proposal and a plan of how they conceived how this would come about. At the December 5th, 2011 follow-up City Commission study session, a new plan was discussed that would lower the city's capital investment as discussed in the first study session from $300,000 to zero, while providing lighting equipment with an expected life of 23 years. I believe that's the second generation LED lights is what that would be. So far, Johnson Controls, at their own expense, has conducted a utility bill analysis, preliminary energy audit, and needs assessment. The next step in the process is to conduct an investment grade audit. The audit will help to determine the feasibility of the project and to define the final scope of the construction within the installation alternatives. The Energy Office of the Kansas Corporation Commission, the KCC, has a program that's called the Facility Conservation Improvement Program, the FCIP. The FCIP is a streamlined program enabling public agencies to use a tool known as the Energy Savings Performance Contract. This program works by entering into an agreement with a private energy service company such as Johnson Controls, which they refer to as the ESCO. The ESCO will identify and evaluate energy-saving opportunities and then recommend a package of improvements to be paid through savings. The ESCO will guarantee that savings meet or exceed the annual payments to cover all project costs. If savings don't materialize, the ESCO pays the difference, not the owner of the project. To ensure savings, the ESCO offers staff training and long-term maintenance services. Plus, all the energy savings performed in the performance contract are developed, implemented, and monitored with the assistance of the SCIP administrator. The approval of the investment grade audit will lead the way to an energy performance contract to provide for installation of new energy efficient lighting in the downtown with a guaranteed fixed price and guaranteed savings offered by Johnson Controls. The cost of the IGA is $28,000 if the city decides not to go forward with an energy performance contract. That's really a construction project to build the lighting system or to replace that. However, if the city enters into a performance contract with Johnson Controls to conduct the construction project and to upgrade the downtown lighting systems, Johnson Controls will absorb the $28,000, the IGA fee. After the delivery of the IGA report and authorization by the City Commission, Johnson Controls will develop the energy performance contract and lighting installation plan. The following is a timeline that we've put together for the IGA of deliverables from Johnson Controls in the days from the signature of the IGA contract with all parties. So if we sign that today, is that the first step is a draft report that we would expect in 90 days or approximately July 8th. The final report would be due in 150 days or September 6th. City Commission study session where Johnson Controls will present the information to the Commission would be within 210 days or around November 5th. And then after that, the presentation would follow to the City Commission, we would assume in probably a couple weeks, in a week or two after that. If the City Commission decides not to go beyond the IGA and enter into the performance contract, information from the IGA will be helpful for future actions and or decisions concerning replacement or upgrading of the downtown lighting system. An additional part of the IGA contract is to study and provide installation cost and estimates for 5 alternate areas. None of these alternate areas currently have decorative lighting. These areas are outlined in attachment B2, alternative areas, that's included in the packet that we provided you. Any one or all of these areas could be added to the energy performance contract if authorized by the City Commission. The cost of the construction would need to be bonded or financed through a municipal lease, most likely over a 15-year time period. Utility savings from the project will recover most of the cost of the project over the 23 years of the anticipated life of the project. According to Johnson Controls, in their initial analysis, the city could expect to realize a $35,000 savings in electrical cost in the first year and an average of $57,000 per year over the 23 years at 4% inflation. The IGA report will determine the exact numbers. These are just estimates that we've been able to put together at this time. As noted above, if the city elects to proceed with the project after the IGA is completed, the $28,000 cost of the audit will be absorbed by Johnson Controls. If at that time the city chooses not to proceed with the project, the $28,000 will be an obligation due to Johnson Controls from the City of Salina. City staff has identified the following options and recommends option 1, which is approve the investment grade audit contract with Johnson Controls, the ESCO, in the amount of $28,000. We are available to answer questions for you. We have some assistants today. We have Chris Christensen, the Business Development Manager with Johnson Controls, who is here with us. We also have Terry Stuber, He is the FCIP team leader in the Energy Office for the Kansas Corporation Commission. And we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for staff?
Some of the questions that I have are maybe more broad brush, as if it were a project down the road. Within the contract, there were tables for essentially markups throughout the process of a project, and it appeared like it inserted the table without any changes to the table it was being inserted into. Maybe there's some grammatical changes in there, but what I basically wanted to clarify is that throughout the agreement, under the assumption of the 20-some year cost recovery, is inclusive of every cost, barring a change order or alternate areas being added. But fees are included in there. Everything that could be rolled into the project is in that general assumption at this point in time.
Yeah, Commissioners, my understanding is that all total costs associated with the core area, that's what we're talking about in there, the core area, because we did want you to look at those other areas, if anything, for future planning, even if you don't want to actually do a project later. But with the core area would be in that cost. I will look at our representatives from Johnson Controls to see if they're nodding the same way to make sure that I understand that correctly.
Yeah, that's costs associated with the project, and they are all inclusive. You said something earlier, change orders. This is a no change order contract with us. So once you get the final results from us, there will be no change orders implemented in this program. That is firm fixed pricing.
Thank you.
Commissioner, kind of on a related note too, I want to clarify, it makes reference to a municipal lease. I believe, unless I hear otherwise, that we would have the option, if we should choose to issue bonds for the project, on the presumption that the issuance cost and the interest rate would provide a lower total debt cost, that we would have that option to do that as well. So, yes.
And then things like potential cost sharing with business entities in the area or things, those are all future discussions. I mean, this is nothing that really locks into a mode of financing 100% by the city or anything like that right now.
That's correct. What this does is it says, Johnson Controls, we want you to do to finalize the study with actual costs, refine all the numbers, and bring that back to see if it meets their projections in that core area. And then when it comes back, you'll look at that, and you'll also be able to look at the cost to those areas in the downtown that haven't had lighting, that are what we call those alternate areas. So you'll have that all brought back to you, and at that time, we will be prepared to discuss any potential cost-sharing opportunities as well.
All these dates on here, 90 days, 150 days, that's if it's approved today. It'll be 90 days from today that we get the PDF and 8 printed copies, and then 150 days after today.
Yeah, that's the timeline based on action today,
We
I believe.
would hope that we could work quicker than that, and we will try to do that. But between doing the work and then reviewing the work to make sure that it's correct, we wanted to give ourselves enough time to be able to make sure that everything is the way it should be.
Right.
Yeah, and there's a lot of detail to this project too. We want to make sure that they've had the ample opportunity to make sure the numbers are sound, and also then when we get a chance to look at it, that we have opportunity to look through it and make sure that we have that the staff has the ability to ask questions and make sure we're comfortable before it comes back to you.
Mayor, I believe I can also answer Commissioner Jennings' question as to that table that was brought over in. Mr. Stuber can address this better than I can, but it might be helpful to briefly talk about the format of the document to be sure that everybody's on the same page. As you look at what you see as headed investment grade audit agreement that runs through section 11 and takes you to the signature block, approximately 8 or 9 pages there, that is the base document used in all projects for this type of project. It is the starting point. The table to which you referred, you'll see there in that section 5.1, I believe it is, G, is stated in terms of being the maximum potential percentages. If you'll hold that thought for a moment, I'll take through the rest of the document. You then get to what's referred to as Attachment A, Contract Terms and Conditions. These are terms to which all of the ESCOs that are qualified, I've forgotten how many there are, but 10 statewide. These provisions are all provisions that all of those ESCOs had to agree to in order to participate in the program. So those are standardized terms and are unmodified in any respect. When you get, of course, that then takes you to Attachment B, and there you begin to see the more specific provisions related to our project in terms of scope of work. That then takes you through the drawings, and then you get to Attachment C, which is actually the document that makes, it's kind of like a construction contract, general provisions and supplemental provisions. The Attachment C tells you the manner in which the base document has been modified. For example, in 5.1.4G, that is where the clarification is made that yes, those percentages are the same, but in our case, Johnson Controls has informed us that those are the percentages that will apply if the project goes forward to the energy performance contract. So a lot of the time in the discussion, frankly, was to try to work out in anticipation. We certainly anticipate that the project would move to one of those energy performance contracts. A lot of the discussion was to try to work out those details so that there weren't any surprises when we got to that stage. And one of those things that they made clear was that those are to be the percentages that would apply should we move to that phase. So that's a little more about the structure of the document and how that worked.
Thank you. Any other questions? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for action.
Mayor, I move that we approve the investment grade audit contract with Johnson Control ESCO for $28,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the commission approve the investment grade audit contract with Johnson Controls ESCO for $28,000. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Any other business?
No.
I thought you were going to say something the way you moved that over. Is there a
No
motion
executive
to adjourn?
sessions?
Move
So
to adjourn.
moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0 and we're adjourned.
Jason, did you get into that conference call?